Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Battle Through the Heavens 2. Rebirth of Emperor Yang Part 20 based on novel. So let's start. Xiao Yan changed the yin formula in his hand and shouted in his heart. Then the yin formula in his hand suddenly coagulated and controlled the flow of different fire in his body. The strange fire in the body flows along some meridians that have never been passed before, but finally returns to the skill line of burning dew. Then, somehow, he deviated from the practice route of burning dew again. But even so, according to the common sense, the phenomenon of chi and blood reversal, which should occur due to the operation of the skill, has never happened, and it really seems strange. Of course, this only lies in those who don't know. Xiao Yan won't be surprised by it. The different fire moves slowly along the new skill route, warming up the meridians. Xiao Yan also tried his best to be familiar with the skill route, which was a little longer than the original one. He slowly ran the fighting chi in his body and ran on this slightly strange route. After several hours of refining and fusion, this part of the skill of burning yang formula has been completely refined by Xiao Yan. Although it is still a little astringent, it is generally fully integrated with the burning formula practiced by Xiao Yan. Even when Xiao Yan was running, he felt more smooth in his heart, and his fighting and refining were faster. This also makes Xiao Yan quite happy. Kung Fu is the foundation of cultivation. With a good Kung Fu, you can practice it more quickly. Naturally, the rise of cultivation will be faster and more solid. In this way, when facing the enemy in the future, we will naturally have more confidence. Oh, yes, it's good to be able to fully integrate and refine it in such a short time. According to the running speed and cultivation speed of the burning formula, it has indeed reached the level of human-level skill. But unfortunately, this skill is not complete, so it will take you some time to adapt. Xiao Yan nodded and smiled. He didn't say anything. It's good for Tuoshigu to do whatever he wants. Although Xiao Yan is not the kind of person who is at the mercy of others, Tuoshigu is determined not to harm him. What's more, he really needs strength now. With the road paved for him by Tuoshigu Emperor, he will indeed avoid many detours. The two chatted again. Xiao Yan entered the state of cultivation and began to cultivate. Next day. On the top of the mountain, a touch of morning glow shot from the other side of the horizon and reflected on Xiao Yan's beautiful face. Xiao Yan's slightly closed eyes slowly opened, withdrew from the cultivation state, narrowed his eyes and looked at the white fish belly in the sky. He stood up from the ground, adjusted his clothes, moved, and flew away towards the wild ancient city. A few days later, 8 figures stood on the top of the mountain. These 8 figures are the people of Yenmore and the old ghost. One of them, after exploring for a long time, nodded, opened his mouth and said respectfully to a person on the side. Report to the third hall lord. This is where Xiao Yan stayed. If it's good, he should have left here for a few days. According to our speed, we think we'll catch up with him soon. Hearing the speech, the lord of the third hall nodded slightly, looked at the direction Xiao Yan left, thought a little in his heart and said, "This direction is to the wild ancient city, Xiao Yan. This is to leave the southern region." After a slight meal, the three-hall lord gave another sneer and then said, "If you leave the southern region, you'll be all right?" The lord of the 3 halls raised his right hand gently, then waved it down again, and shouted in his mouth, "Let's go. We must catch up with Xiao Yan within 3 days so that he can't get out of the southern region." Everyone answered, and then flew to chase Xiao Yan in the direction he left. 2 days later, desolate city. On the second floor of a tavern, Xiao Yan sat on a table by the window. Looking at the flow of people below, he took a sip of the tea in his hand, smiled and wanted to get up and leave. The voice of Ji Yu suddenly came, which made Xiao Yan frown slightly and sat down steadily again. "Wait, I don't think you need to go. There should be a good play later." Xiao Yan frowned slightly and asked Ji Yu in his heart, "Old Bone, what do you mean?" I think it's the group of people you're waiting for. I feel that in the direction you come, there are 8 powerful little guys at the semi-emperor level coming here. I think it won't be long before I can get here. Hearing the speech, Xiao Yan frowned, looked up at the distant sky outside the window, and asked faintly. Old bones, what are their strengths? Well, it seems that they are determined to take you down. As soon as this sentence came out, Xiao Yan's face immediately became dignified, but he still listened quietly. Their overall strength is really a lot of pressure for you. The strongest one is the 7-star-and-a-half Emperor, followed by 2 4-star-and-a-half Emperors and 5 1-star-and-a-half Emperors. Xiao Yan didn't make a sound. He nodded silently to express his understanding. Then he moved and disappeared into the restaurant. The next moment, above the sky, a figure in white suddenly flashed out, causing everyone on the ground to look up at the sky and show a curious look. Xiao Yan lost his hands behind him, his eyes closed slightly, and his face was expressionless. He stood quietly in the void, waiting for their arrival. A moment later, a few faint black spots appeared in the distant sky. Within a moment, they had come to 100 feet in front of Xiao Yan. Jie? Xiao Yan, I'm really thunderous about your name. In order to wait for you, do you know how many manpower we have sent for 10 years? Now, you finally appear. Xiao Yan frowned, his eyes slowly opened, narrowed into a black line, looked at the speaker, but still smiled and asked. Wait for me? I've never met you. Why wait for me to say so? Jie? It seems that Your Excellency Xiao Yan still doesn't know much about many things. Then, please go back with me and be explained by my master. I think Your Excellency Xiao Yan will understand the reason. Xiao Yan heard the words, but the corners of his mouth were hooked, and gave a sneer. His eyes were full of sarcasm, and he said, I'm sorry. I like to stay with people. I really don't get along with you. When the third Hall Lord heard the speech, his eyes suddenly became fierce. His eyes to Xiao Yan were full of killing intention. After a good moment, he slowly said, It seems that you don't want to go with us. In that case, don't blame me for being rude. Give it to me. As long as you don't let him die, everything else doesn't matter. Before the words fell, the 7 people behind him moved and rushed towards Xiao Yan. A great war, imminent. Xiao Yan looked at the 7 black fox surrounding him, frowned slightly, and a dignified color flashed across his face. Xiao Yan's eyes narrowed slightly, looked at the 3 Hall Lord again, and said, There seems to be no hatred between us. What's more, I'm new here. Although I hurt the old devil that day, I don't seem to have done anything to him. When the young devil old ghost heard the speech, his face suddenly became fierce. He looked at Xiao Yan angrily, and burst out and shouted. Xiao Yan, if you hadn't attacked me secretly, how could I be hurt by you? Xiao Yan. I'll slap you. Before the words fell, the old devil was in a hurry. Without the order of the third Hall Lord, he made a violent drink in his mouth. The body moved and hit Xiao Yan with a palm. Xiao Yan saw this, but a sneer appeared on his face. The right arm is waved to the front of the body, and then the palm is suddenly grasped into a fist. At the same time, the different fire in the body also emerges from the body surface and covers the whole body. Let Xiao Yan look at the moment and completely become a flaming man with gorgeous colors. Under the package of different fire, Xiao Yan slowly raised his head, a pair of bright eyes lit up slightly, and a bright light flashed through his eyes. Xiao Yan suddenly waved his right arm and shook his body. He rushed to the old devil. Boom! Huge fire waves swept across the sky, blocking everyone's sight. The look of the Lord of the 3 Halls was also slightly moving. Under the black fog, a pair of cloudy eyes emitted a little dark light. This Xiao Yan has raised his strength to the peak of 2-star-and-a-half Emperor in just 2 months. It's really amazing. If only because of the awakening of blood, then this Xiao Yan is really amazing. So it seems that Xiao Yan must not stay. This time, we must take him down. The thought flashed in the heart, and a bloodthirsty light flashed in the eyes of the 3 Hall Lord. Just about to make a move, the eyes of the 3rd Hall Lord changed again. With a wave of the sleeve robe, black energy was played out, and a roar was heard again. The sound was accompanied by a painful call, and the figure of the old devil appeared below the fire wave. Waste? The Lord of the Three Halls snorted coldly without turning his head, and then his eyes were fierce. The fire waves in front of the Lord of the Three Halls were directly separated. The fire wave was broken, showing Xiao Yan's figure. Xiao Yan turned around and looked at the three hall masters. At the intersection of the four eyes, a flash of fire flashed, and then Xiao Yan's body suddenly shook and rubbed back 3 steps. The third hall lord sneered, moved his body, and hit Xiao Yan with a fist. At that time, the boxing wind roared, and the space around the main body of the three halls was suddenly broken, showing a large dark void space. Where the Lord of the Three Halls passed, the space was turned into a vacuum. It healed slowly after a good piece of carving. It's all a long story, but in fact it's just an instant. A blink of time is enough for Xiao Yang to do a lot of things, but at the moment, Xiao Yang shows a feeling of powerlessness. Xiao Yang's face was dignified. The 7-star-and-a-half emperor was indeed not easily shaken by him. The gap between them was still too big. The space around your body has long been locked. It's impossible to avoid it. Xiao Yang looked at the closer punch, looked certain, and his heart moved. The blood of the dragon phoenix in his body was stimulated, and pieces of golden dragon scales spread all over his body. As soon as he shook his body and stepped on the void, he rushed towards the three hall lord in an instant. Yellow spring palm. Xiao Yang uttered a violent drink in his mouth. He really fought with each other and condensed quickly. One was to meet the fierce fist of the third hall lord. Boom! A loud noise was sent out, and a wave of fierce energy swept the world, washing away the unfinished fire wave. In the sky, the figure of the three hall lord stood in the sky, while Xiao Yang was blown hundreds of feet in the roar, and finally embedded in a huge mountain with a burst sound. But even so, the three hall lord, who stood upright on the void, still frowned slightly. A look of surprise flashed in his eyes, and he couldn't help muttering in a low voice. Unexpectedly, Xiao Yang's body is so terrible. With 30% of my 7-star-and-a-half emperor's strength, I haven't been able to waste his arm. It's really cold. But then, the eyes of the three hall lord turned cold again and looked at the huge mountain hit by Xiao Yang. The palm of the three hall lord clenched into a fist again, making a creaking sound, and the dry old dark yellow skin at the knuckles was also a little white. Then the Lord of the Three Halls disappeared with a flash of his body and the black fog that lingered around him. At the same time, a dark wind blew between heaven and earth for no reason. The yin wind blew, and then formed several wind rolls. With a roaring wind howl, it circled among the people, which seemed quite strange. In the next moment, the three hall lord who had originally swept away towards Xiao Yang suddenly roared. Roar? Xiao Yang! How dare you tease the lord of our temple? You're dying. The lord of our temple will peel your skin and cramp you today. The lord of the three halls turned around with scarlet eyes, his angry face twitched continuously, and his whole body momentum soared, so that the black fog around him also spread ripples like water waves. What he didn't expect was that under the power of his 7-star-and-a-half emperor, Xiao Yang could disappear quietly in front of him. This made him, a 7-star-and-a-half emperor who had been in a high position for a long time, feel ashamed. The dark wind blew, and then a figure in white appeared in the sky, looking at the three hall lord with a sneer. The three hall lord's face twitched, and his fighting spirit was mobilized. With a flash of body shape, he appeared in front of Xiao Yang, and hit Xiao Yang with a fist. Xiao Yang was shocked when he saw this. He lay back slightly with his arms open. The wind stirred under his feet. His figure flashed and disappeared in place. But unfortunately, even though Xiao Yang's reaction was very fast, the fist of the third hall lord still left a shallow fist mark on Xiao Yang's chest. Xiao Yang's figure flickered and appeared 100 feet away. Poof! Xiao Yang took a big mouth, turned red and spit out a mouthful of reverse blood. Then he looked at his chest, where there was a palm-sized blood mark. Xiao Yang's face trembled slightly, and he thought in a dignified way. The strength of the 7-star-and-a-half emperor is really not covered. If I hadn't reacted quickly enough, I'm afraid the punch just now would have been enough to seriously hurt me and lose my combat power. When Xiao Yan thought about it, he felt cold in his back. The 7-star-and-a-half Emperor was really not what he could compete with. He can't even take a heavy punch from others. What can he take to fight for his life and death? Why, I'm not sure. Don't you still have a level fighting skill? Will you be afraid of him? Xiao Yang frowned, slightly surprised when he heard Yang, looked at the three-hall lord in the distance, and asked Ji Yu in his heart. Ji Yu Lao, I can understand that you said I have people's level fighting skills. You said in Yogu Hall that the power of Buddha's anger reincarnation has reached the level of human level fighting skills, but does it have anything to do with being afraid of the three-hall masters? Or do you want me to fight with a 7-star-and-a-half Emperor with a human level fighting skill? As soon as the voice of doubt in Xiao Yang's heart came out, Guyo was choked and coughed for several times. Then he stopped slowly. Xiao Yan also seems to be aware of his cognitive error, but he doesn't continue to chase after the inquiry. Because he knew that the bone tryst would tell him the answer. Sure enough, after a long time, Guyo finally spoke again. If I hadn't heard what you said here, I'm afraid even a casual person would be angry with you if he heard what you said. Xiao Yang's eyes blinked, as if he felt the man's step fighting skills were unusual. But he still looked at the three shopkeepers calmly. Seeing that the three-hall lord was also looking at himself suspiciously, Xiao Yang put his heart down. Alas, although human-level fighting skills are the lowest level of heaven-level fighting skills, the development of human-level fighting skills is the most inestimable in the whole heaven-level fighting skills. As for the heaven-position fighting skill, it is just a general term. The fourth level of human spirit and meaning is called heaven-position fighting skill, and the fourth level of heaven and earth Shen Huang is the emperor-position fighting skill, which is also divided by the fighting skill classes mastered by people of all strength. It is very common. As for the development of human-level fighting skills, it is because human-level fighting skills are the easiest to practice and understand in the whole heaven-level fighting skills. People's level fighting skills, proficient in cultivation, will use the virtual shadow of the founder, so that the cultivator can control it more easily. It is precisely because of this virtual shadow that practitioners can have the opportunity to understand the mystery, improve the fighting skills on the basis of the original fighting skills, and even have the opportunity to create spiritual level fighting skills. The power of the human level fighting skill is naturally incomparable. Take you for example, if you use the human level fighting skill to deal with the three-hall lord, one move is enough to inflict heavy damage on him. You should understand what I said here. The human level fighting skill is not so simple. What's more, your human level fighting skill was created by yourself. At this point, it should be more powerful. So, you can rest assured and go boldly. The words were very long, but it was just a few breathing skills between Xiao Yang and the three-hall masters. Hearing this, Xiao Yang was greatly encouraged. He took a deep breath and wanted to fight with the third-hall lord several times. But the next moment, his face changed again. He covered his chest with his palm and coughed a few times. Xiao Yang spit out the blood stains left in his mouth and felt the faint smell of blood coming from his breath. He couldn't help feeling bitter in his heart. The speed of the three-hall masters is obviously above him, and the first condition for Xiao Yang to display the reincarnation of Buddha anger is that he needs enough time. But now, Xiao Yang wants to have enough time to show the reincarnation of Buddha anger. It can be said that he has no chance at all. Although Xiao Yang has Jian Juobu as his help, after all, Jian Juobu hasn't cultivated yet. Even if he tries his best, I'm afraid his speed is at most the same as that of the third-hall lord. In this way, coupled with the fierce demons, old ghosts and others still eyeing, I'm afraid I can't have the opportunity to show the reincarnation of Buddha anger. Xiao Yan thought to himself that he was here. His eyebrows wrinkled tightly and his eyes scanned everywhere, looking for a way to escape. After thinking for a moment, Xiao Yang's heart was horizontal. Since there was no other way to live, he had to rush out of a way by force. Xiao Yang's eyes suddenly became cold. The three-hall lord raised his eyebrows gently, but he gave a sneer, put his hands around his chest, and looked at Xiao Yang with contempt in his eyes. Xiao Yan's body moved, and there was a whirlwind on the soles of his feet, which disappeared silently in the void. The Lord of the Three Halls gave a sneer, clenched his fists, moved his body, and appeared somewhere in the void. He waved his huge fist and hit it hard towards the space in front of him with a burning wind. Bang! A muffled sound came out, and the eyebrows under the mask of the three main halls wrinkled slightly, and then turned into a cold hum. The body moved and flashed out again. At the moment, Xiao Yan's face was also extremely dignified. He grasped Qianjue's step with all his heart and dodged around. He didn't dare to have the slightest carelessness. Every time the Lord of the Three Halls flashed, he made a dull sound in the air, sometimes with an artificial dull hum. But there was no trace of the man, which also surprised the people in the city below. A moment later, on the horizon, a figure with broken body, blood on the corners of his mouth and blue and purple on his body finally stopped. Xiao Yan breathed heavily in his mouth, and his face trembled at the corners of his eyes. Looking at his ragged clothes, Xiao Yan grinned at the three-hall lord and gave a sneer. In the brief confrontation just now, the three-hall masters hit nearly 100 fists in total, but there were only a dozen blue and purple places in Xiao Yan's body. Although the clothes and robes were broken, at least Xiao Yan had too few injuries. On the other hand, Xiao Yan also found that his control of Qianjueba was getting better and better in such a tight state. This is really good news for Xiao Yan. Seeing Xiao Yan's sarcastic smile just now, the Lord of the Third Hall was very angry. He clenched his fists again and shouted, "Roar! You guys, go together. The Lord of our temple must beat you up today." The 7 people heard this. Led by the young devil and the old ghost, they all moved. Between the changes of the knots in their hands, a violent drink resounded through the sky, came out of their mouth and bombarded Xiao Yan fiercely. Xiao Yan frowned, but he didn't panic. His footwork changed, twisted a strange angle, moved fiercely, and disappeared into the air again. At this time, the attack of the 7 people had already arrived in front of him, but unfortunately, Xiao Yan's figure had already disappeared. Boom! With one blow, the body shape of the three-hall lord appeared 100 feet away from the 7 people, but it was a heavy black ruler to meet him. At the moment, the giant ruler, under the fierce punch of the three-hall lord, has been forcibly blasted out of a 3-inch deep groove, surrounded by some dense cracks. This video will end here.